you can see that they actually cover many countries. But we can identify kind of a main countries from where the people of Central Asia are trafficked. It's actually 3 of them. Russia, Turkey, Emirates, and then others coming. Why? Simply because this is the kind of a labor market or linguistic links why the people are going there. For example, people from Turkmenistan, their main country of destination for them is Turkey. Simple language links. Yeah, they're also going to Russia, but the Russia coming in number 2. From other countries, also Kazakhstan coming as a very important country of destination. Meaning other Central Asian country. And then we can say from Central Asia it's free, but then we can also always add Kazakhstan. And actually Kazakhstan come as a country destination that is coming on number 1 position and before Russia on those identified, which is not good, it's actually better, show the better results of the police here than, for example, in Russia. This is actually just something what I already mentioned about what we have concerning the UN protocol, how the things are local concerning the law. I mentioned you the convention, I mentioned you the protocols. This is how actually the current situation look like concerning trafficking in human beings. Recently, we did have a new articles that is linked with trafficking human beings in Kazakhstan law, but we still don't have a separate law on trafficking in human beings, but it's still something that is pending to be adopted in one of the future years. If you're talking how IOM is working and how we are responding to this phenomena, we actually working on something what we call 3P. The first is prevention, the second is protection, the third is persecution, and the fourth one is partnership. Prevention, I think all of you had a chance in one moment in your work, studying, going around, to see some of our prevention work. That could be billboards, could be the different researchers, could be everything that actually we are trying to share and try to make awareness that trafficking is around us, that we need to fight against it. Protection and assistance is something that actually we are doing also with the support of, for example, David and others when you have shelters. We have a total of 12 shelters in Central Asia, and those people do need assistance, do need certain comfort area. This is something that is actually always need to be person-centered, human rights centered, what this person particularly needs. After we come back with a statistic and show exactly what you're doing in Kazakhstan, but just for you to understand how the things are functioning, I made this slide. Prosecution, it's working with the Ministry of actually Ministries of Force. It's not only Ministry of Interior, it's not only Prosecution Office, it's also border guards, it's also KGB, security forces. We're actually working with all of them because they are there to actually to empower. We are there to empower them to fight these organized crime groups. And finally, this is partnership. In first 2, actually, we are working mostly in prevention, protection with civil societies. In the third sector, we are working mostly with government officials. And actually, this is the synergy. Government, NGOs, international organizations. This is the partnership. All 3 parts of the one society need to be involved. When I'm talking all 3, it's also including religious organizations. Each of the society is secular in Central Asia. However, religion had a growing importance. Religious leaders should not be excluded. They're very important if we want to do for any part of our work to be included in. This is how, for example, look the prevention campaigns. I'll just go briefly, you can see the variety of them. Currently, what we are trying to do, we're actually trying to make a one number for whole Central Asia. Currently, we have the one number per each of the country, but now we're trying to have one number in all 5 countries. It doesn't matter where people move, they know which number they can call and get more information about possibility of work, but also what kind of threats are there and what kind of problem they could have. This is how the materials look like. It's just some of the examples. Public awareness campaigns. Those public awareness campaigns could be really different. I mean, it could be even certain things that you can receive over as SMS. I mean, this is, they can, the shows, the presentations, everything could be included. That depends. What is the limit? Only on imagination. How you actually would like to present something to the public. Theater performance, public service announcement, public exhibitions, action securities, sorry. This is how the lines look like. As I told you, we are not trying to actually have one unified line from all, but we are working on it. This is protection, what we are doing. I will come after on all of this to the concrete examples from Kazakhstan. Just for you to have a visual kind of picture how the rehabilitation centers look like. This is actually where most of the things that Nazarbayev University collect going. They're going in the shelters and rehabilitation centers, directly to the victims of trafficking. We are just actually helping to David to reach directly those in needs once the things are collected here. This is just examples of the shelters. What type of reintegration assistance? I will come also a bit after about what kind of vocational training we are providing, how we are doing this. I will come just a bit after with the statistic. Prosecution, this is a training for law enforcement that we are doing. And this is the building cooperation, as I mentioned. This is actually something that must be government, NGO internationalization, bilaterally, sub-regionally, globally, we need to act. This is currently a number of victims that we actually supported. As I mentioned, 12 shelters, over 100 NGOs in our city, actually 120 plus now. And this is some of the research that we've done. I think some of the books still exist in your library, and they're still available around. It's a good, actually, something just to go through them and to read actually what is the destiny of those people through reading them of some of those materials. I will now go to the second, it's not a presentation, second just the statistics that you understand how the things are coming, how it's happening in Kazakhstan, and then after I give you possibility to ask questions or give your impressions about the things that you just saw. Okay, this is actually statistics for Kazakhstan, and as you could see here, this is what we have, what we currently supported for victims of trafficking in Kazakhstan. Total numbers is close to 1,000. And you can see that a country where now currently most of the people are exploited are internal. It's within the Kazakhstan. And then we have some of them that are actually now trafficked externally. I mean, this is something that is currently happening mostly within the country. If you look further, okay, this is, if you're talking about what I mentioned, this is internal, international. When talking about international, this is actually those that are exploited here, but from abroad. And internal, this is Kazakh. As I already mentioned, most of the exploitation happening here, but also with some people, not some, but most of them actually are from the countries from the region. What is important, that this figure 980 that was identified in Kazakhstan is more than a double identified up and their return in other Central Asian countries. It's another, we still have a problem here with identifying the victims of trafficking. Mostly the reason for it, it's linked with the cases of labor exploitation, because the government itself, looking, if you don't have a concrete case, will not identify someone as a victim of trafficking. Actually, one international norm, and this is for foreign victims of trafficking, they should cooperate with law enforcement in order to get a status in the country of destination. They understand they need to have a concrete case, which is not the same. it's enough to cooperate to be recognized as a victim of trafficking. The status of victim of trafficking should not depend on the quality of the law enforcement officers who actually qualify certain acts under certain criminal code. And this is something that you also need to understand. This is the NGO that we're working with most of them actually daily directly also cooperating with. This is NGOs that actually are also running the shelters, but it's also important to see that many of the victims of trafficking are actually identified by NGOs, by civil society, and then referred to the Ministry of Interior or other relevant bodies. We showed a good cooperation between the civil society and law enforcement. As you could see, total number of 200, 1/3 of the total number of victim trafficking identified within the country is actually identified by civil society partners. If you go further, you can see actually gender breakdown. You will see that actually male and female, there's no really big difference. It's not only something hitting any of the genders, actually hit both genders. And I don't think that actually when we're talking about sexual exploitation that a male also not target. They are also targeted. And this is the reason why we actually talking, we need to be very open that this is happening and this is happening all around us. This is also something that you need to understand. This is why this is important to also look, are there parents or not? Because very often during the time of the exploitation, their children are neglected. Not because of their fault, but simply because they're not able to provide support to their kids because there was trafficking. And then support needs to be around the family, to provide support not only to the victim, but also to the family members, especially minors. I already mentioned statistics about who are the victims of trafficking, and we're talking about age, and actually those two should be looked at one. Because this is the moment of identification, not moment of recruitment. If you look at them together, this is something above 50% of total victim of trafficking actually your age. Those that are recruited in approximately your age. This is the main two attacks.